What up, everybody? The beginning of Power Book 2 Goes Season 4, Episode 6 started out with Tariq and Braden meeting up with Noma and Kane to negotiate new terms to their truce. After Noma found out that Tariq broke their initial truce in Episode 5 and that he was back dealing. This time, Tariq was taking the upper hand by letting Noma know that he's been spending a lot of time around her daughter lately, and then Braden chipped in letting them know it's evident that Anya doesn't know about Noma's criminal side. Then flashed Agent Junior Young's flash drive with the information on Noma proving she's a drug supplier. And Tariq let Noma and Kane know that if anything were to happen to him or Braden, that he has it arranged that the information would get out to both Anya and the NYPD, and it would also be exposed to Anya that Noma killed her father, Francesco Lombardi. So the terms of the new truce was for Noma and Kane to leave Tariq and Braden the fuck alone. But I am surprised that Noma didn't at least tell Tariq that he needs to stop seeing Anya. Because later in the episode, it showed Tariq hooking up with Anya again in his Stansfield dorm room. Then Tariq went on to have a casual conversation with Anya. Just trying to get to know her better and more about her family. Anya says she don't let her mama tell her what to do, but the opposite. Noma had actually even told Anya to stay away from Tariq. Anya said that her mom went on and on about how she read some unsettling news about Tariq and his family. So Noma knows about his father, James St. Patrick, either though she has never mentioned Tariq's family to him personally. She also likely knows that Tasha's in WITSEC and that Tariq recently beat a double murder case, either though she's never brought any of this up to Tariq. But we do know that they were doing their homework on everybody in season 3 when they showed them the pictures of Estelle, Diana, and Braden's parents. Tariq told Anya that he's been falsely accused of a lot of things that he didn't do, and that he's nothing like his father. But at the same time, Noma telling Anya to stay away from Tariq and that he's bad news is likely only making her more interested in him. Because based upon who Anya's parents are, two stone cold killers, Noma and Francesco Lombardi, Anya has gangster in her blood. She just doesn't know it yet. Also keeping in mind that she does coke from time to time, letting us know that she has a rebellious side. But Tariq used Anya mention his family to ask about her family, and we could tell that Anya is still visibly upset about what happened to her father. Like she told Noma in episode 1, she can't get the picture of her father laying there with that bullet hole in his head out of her mind. Then Anya told Tariq that her mom is a total badass who runs an international conglomerate. Notice that Anya couldn't say a single thing that her mother actually did for a living, like her father being an oil tycoon. She just said that she's an international conglomerate. Then Tariq asked Anya if her mother travels to any certain places more than others, and Anya told him that she's based out of Milan and London, but since Anya's dad died, she's been spending more time in the US. Anya said she flies with her mom all over the place, Europe, Asia, South America, but she's been begging her mother to take her to Nigeria, where her family is from. And Noma goes there all the time to visit her brother, but she won't bring Anya with her because she says it's too dangerous. So Tariq now knows about another attachment that Noma has that he could potentially use against her as leverage. But the bigger question is, who exactly is Noma's brother, and why won't Noma let Anya travel with her to Nigeria to meet her brother? Because one thing we do know for sure is that Noma's lying about it not being safe for Anya in Nigeria. Because everywhere Noma goes, she can have as much security as she needs. And from what I've seen about Noma, people need protection from her and not too much the other way around. I feel like if Noma actually had any type of enemies or anything like that in Nigeria where it actually wasn't safe, then Noma wouldn't be going back there herself. So it likely has something to do with Noma's double life and her criminal side. I think most likely that Noma is involved with the Nigerian Mafia, and her brother are most likely at the top of the food chain. That Noma runs the international operation while her brother runs things locally in Nigeria. When I did a quick search of the Nigerian Mafia, what also popped up was the Nigerian Mafia in Italy. And up until the time that she killed Anya's father, Francesco Lombardi, Noma also lived in Italy full time. I've talked about in other videos how I think that Francesco Lombardi was at the top of the Italian Mafia Cosa Nostra because the fact he was also living a double life like Noma, and she said that he was her biggest competitor in arms dealing, and Lombardi was also an oil tycoon. So that is most likely how Noma and Lombardi met, being at the top of the Italian and Nigerian Mafia respectively. And when the two got married, it would have established an alliance between the two mobs, almost like back in the old days when a prince from one country would marry a princess from another to establish an alliance between the two countries. This also likely benefited Lombardi in his oil business because of Noma and the Nigerian mob's control in different parts of Africa. So this would have given Lombardi and his legitimate oil business opportunities to drill in Africa. But the question is, does this explain where Noma's drugs are coming from? Is Noma's brother also her drug supplier? If he is, then that means it would almost be impossible for either Kane or Tariq to replace Noma, something I think both of them have their eyes set on. But at the same time, there's also a chance that Noma doesn't even have a brother to begin with. And when she tells Anya that she's traveling to Nigeria to visit her brother, that she could actually be meeting up with her plug. The thing about that theory is that Noma doesn't seem like the type that handles shipments firsthand, so it really doesn't make sense that she'll be visiting her plug all the time like that for re-ups. What we do know is that Anya's getting older and that she's beginning to look for answers. There's also a small chance that Noma's brother is her soft spot, like Obi's brother, and like Obi's brother, Noma's brother is ignorant to her criminal side, like Anya is. But I can't see that because if that was true, I don't see why she would have a problem with Anya meeting him. I hope that Noma's brother is someone who is way more savage than even Noma, and there could even be a chance that he doesn't even know that she has a daughter because she's trying to keep her daughter as far away from the life as possible. A few years ago, there was a lot of talk about a possible London or UK spin-off. Could Noma possibly be the lead character in a new power book in London? And her brother could potentially be a lead character in that spin-off. Anya said that Noma is based out of Milan in London, but right now she's spending more time in the States than ever before. And like I said at the beginning of the video, that's because things are too hot for her in Italy right now. Well, then what would be Noma's next move if things got too hot for her in the States? I would think they would be getting out the States and going to live in London. This could be why Noma went from a recurring character in Season 3 to a main character in Season 4, and also why we're starting to get more into her life and her backstory. Let me know what you think about a potential spin-off with Noma in London and a potential connection to the Nigerian Mafia. Personally, I'm actually starting to like Noma's character. I thought it was funny when she called Wiley Adams a wanker, and her reaction after Zion did the drive-by at the restaurant. Last season, there was a lot of talk about Ghost could potentially be Noma's brother, but let's dead that talk now that Tariq's hooking up with her daughter, Anya. In Season 3, there was also a lot of talk about how RSJ could potentially be connected to Noma, and I can see that, but at the same time, I don't know if he's her brother because RSJ talked about growing up poor and his father dying. Not saying that would mean he didn't grow up in Nigeria, but it seemed like he was interested in the QCP location because he grew up in Queens or something like that. And also because he has no kind of accent, it doesn't seem like he grew up in Nigeria. As well as if RSJ was Noma's brother, I don't feel like she'd be having problems trying to get her legitimate business going in the States. But I do feel like it's still a possibility because of how Noma was able to track down Tariq in Italy and how she knew all his business when he was on the trip with RSJ. Kiki also told Brayden that RSJ fled the country to avoid being questioned by the feds. So he could have potentially went home to Nigeria, and that's why we haven't seen him yet this season. I will say this though, I wouldn't be mad if that is the twist and RSJ is Noma's brother. And if RSJ and Noma got their own spin-off, I do think it would be fire and people would watch it. All the talk from RSJ to Tariq about his father could have been after RSJ and Noma did their research on Tariq when he started working for them. And that's why RSJ kept bringing up Tariq's father to him. And there's also the Easter egg I pointed out in season 3 from episode 5 how both RSJ and Noma stood up to button their jacket in the same type of way. I said this could be a clue that the two were connected in some type of way. And there you have it. Let me know who you think is Noma's mystery brother and why she doesn't want Anya going to Nigeria, as well as your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.